Hey, everybody. Welcome to Spotlight, a podcast where we shed some light on people in the baseball and softball community. This could be anyone from players, coaches, entrepreneurs, and anyone who has an interesting story we can learn from. Today's guest is Eric Rico, the founder and CEO of Bat Club USA, a premium baseball and softball bat subscription service for serious baseball players. I kind of butchered that at the end, but I'm going to let you kind of explain exactly what that is, because that was like a really short intro, which I did on purpose. But a little story before I officially welcome you is we're going to be doing this partnership coming up. I'm really excited about it. We have kind of overlapping businesses, and I think that our fans and customers and members are just going to love what you have. So I'm super pumped to have you on. Eric, welcome to the show.
Oh, Josh, thanks for having me, man. I'm really fired up about us rekindling this partnership because, like you said, our members definitely intersect, man, and we can bring value to Bat Club USA members, to Plate Crate subscribers. I mean, it's just a natural connection, man, and I'm really excited to be partnered with great people that love the game, man. So really excited about that.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. So I thought we'd start off with let's hear what Bat Club USA is in your words. I wanted to give a little intro, but I think it needs a little bit more definition. And I wanted to hear it directly from you. What is Bat Club USA?
Sure. So we're a subscription and membership service that is going to give any ball player, baseball, softball, access to the best equipment out there. We know that a lot of players are already spending a ton of money on training, traveling, and equipment. And we just wanted to find a way to make the best equipment affordable to everyone, make it accessible to everyone. But we've expanded outside of that. So really what we're looking to do, and our mission is to empower confident ball players that love the game, that are able to reach new heights and are ready to leave their mark on the world, because baseball and softball, they're awesome games that really teach you so many life lessons. And we want to make that accessible to everybody. We want to empower them to do that. And look, part of that of loving the game is success, right? Like if I do well at something, right, and I'm a good player, like I'm going to feel good about myself. I'm going to feel good about the game. I'm going to enjoy it. And then we create baseball players for life, right? Even though they may not be playing in a game, like they're absolutely loving it. And then taking that skill set to other parts of life. I mean, you're a baseball player and a founder and started your own successful business. I mean, we've done the same. I mean, shoot, how many presidents were baseball players, right? Like it's crazy. I know it's maybe in the baseball world a little cliche. Baseball and softball players run the world, man. And we want to be able to help facilitate the love of the game that we know is going to help them past the end of their playing career. So some kids might end at 14, some of them might be at 42, but we want to be able to help love the game so they can take those skills and use it moving forward.
Man, I love it. I love it. And I wanted to get your history with baseball, right? And then I want to get into like the nitty gritty of how you just started Bat Club USA, because we already did a recording for the podcast on your side, and you kind of touched on your founder story, and I'm like, I can't wait to how'd you get into baseball? What's your playing career?
So, and sorry, Josh, you went in and out there a little bit, but my baseball history, we come from a baseball family. My grandfather, as a teenager, actually immigrated from Cuba to play with the Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro Leagues. He got some really cool pictures of him in the jersey with his brother, and then their cousin, who actually played in the majors with the Washington Senators for a little while. Apparently my dad would always tell me the stories that the guy was gigantic, could hit 800-foot home runs, but couldn't put the rest of the social stuff, for lack of a better term, together. So I had some other off the field issues, but baseball family, man. My dad played throughout high school a little bit at a small college. Second I was born, had a baseball bat in my hand, played throughout high school, and then played collegiately at Cornell, and was the school's first Ivy League player of the year my senior year. So, my little claim to fame there, I guess.
That's a good one. That's a good claim to fame, though.
I don't know how famous, but famous enough, maybe. So after that, I was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. I spent 4 years in their organization, 2 years as an outfielder, 2 years as a pitcher. One of the perks of being left-handed and throwing hard is you can kind of extend the career a little bit because we'll try it. And it was awesome, great experience. I know you played independent ball, so you got the similar feel as what I got in rookie ball and A ball. It was awesome, but every good thing comes to an end at some point. So I remember when I got to the end of my career, I'm 25 years old. I know the system and what it looks like, and just funny story for me, at least. It's better to laugh than cry about it, I guess. But but I remember. Okay, we've got guys coming off the DL. There's at least one person that needs to go. I'm 5 years older than everybody and not really playing so great. I don't think they'll find me if I hide in this bathroom stall. But sure enough, Tom Bradley knew, hey, Rico, Kenny's looking for you. Ken Joyce, who I believe is with the West Virginia Power this year in the minor leagues. I forget which organization that's affiliated with, but Kenny wants to see you. And that was the end. That was the end of the baseball career. But after being away from the game a little bit, was essentially able to reignite my love for baseball with my son starting coach pitch and then starting Bat Club USA.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy to hear people's release stories, because the thing is, like, if you don't make it to the major leagues, and most of the guys that made it to the major leagues have been released at some point or another. Yep. Like, if you're in the big leagues, maybe not, because you've just always been crushing it. But I mean, if you didn't make it to the big leagues, you got released at some point. You know what I mean? So I always remember, I mean, this is like a little off topic, but there was this one kid, he played in like 10 different affiliates organizations. He bounced around in indie ball. He played in every league. And I got released from the team. I had a neck injury, and then they're like, Josh, we can't carry anymore, released. And I was like so bummed about it, obviously. And I knew I could just, come back to spring training next year and be fine. But he's like, Josh, he's like, that's your whole career. He's like, if I wrote a book, it would be called Released. He's like, you're going to get released one more time than teams you've been picked up by. He's like, it's just part of respected so much. He's been on teams. He was like such a minor league vet, and he was like, if I had a book, it'd be called Released. And I was like, you should come out with that book. I think there's some good stories in there.
Always are.
Yeah, you find the pink slip in your locker. It's no good.
No.
But let's get into your past your playing career. You're 25. And I'm sure a bunch of stuff happened in the middle, whether you had, because Bat Club USA was founded. What year was Bat Club USA founded?
In 2016.
In 2016. So,
yep.
I mean, honestly, Eric, the first thing I noticed about you, I was like, this guy's done something before. You built Bat Club USA quickly, efficiently, and you've put together just something really cool. What did you do after your release? What was your entrepreneurial background before Bat Club USA?
So what's funny about that, Josh, is I wouldn't necessarily consider myself an entrepreneur. I worked for some major healthcare organizations down in Miami, excuse me, but I never would have considered myself an entrepreneur. And then I started thinking about it a little bit. And before Bat Club, I actually had two businesses that I had started. I had started a baseball academy, and I had started another. My family was in printing and a printing related business that just didn't work out. They weren't for me. The market, I wasn't able to tap into it. But I never really thought of those as businesses. Just like I didn't necessarily think of Bat Club as a business when we got it started. It was something else that we saw a need for, something that we're passionate about. And I think that's why it was so successful, is that it just started with a passion, right? And Bat Club's been so successful because it was something that we really loved and really found a way to push, starting in my daughter's 8x8 pink room. That was the first Bat Club USA office with an IKEA shelf. And I moved my two girls in with my two boys. So I got 4 kids in one room. So I could have the Bat Club corporate office. And I mean, it's crazy. If you look at our Instagram, man, I've got pictures of my kids having a competition on who can carry the most bats into the post office.
Yeah.
It was an amazing start. So I mean, I had some great work experience at some great organizations that I was able to take those lessons and apply them, and especially like work ethic. I mean, this is really funny that you brought this up, and I might be going a little long here. That's all right. When I came back from baseball, I started working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and if you would have asked me right away, I mean, 2 years, 3 years, even you know what, like 2 years before I started Bat Club, would you do it? I'd say absolutely not. It was a grind. It was hard. I'm wearing a white shirt. I'm vacuuming cars, and I'm doing stuff that, like, you know, at the time, maybe you feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm too good. I'm too big for this. I should be doing something else. Like, you know, you have that mindset, especially fresh out of college. Like, oh, what am I doing vacuuming cars? What am I doing going door to door trying to sell people stuff and bring in corporate accounts and trying to sell people this damage waiver and stuff like that? Like, that stuff is hard, man. But those were integral parts to running a business. And I learned so much from that time that I was talking to my former area manager the other day, because he started a successful barbershop chain in Miami. And he said the same thing. Like, I wouldn't change it, man. It was really hard. And if you would have asked me right after, I would have said, no, don't do it. No, don't do it. No, don't do it. But it was awesome. Like what we learned from that, and not necessarily the in and outs of building a rental car company. It was more about what work ethic is needed to be able to build something successful. So I thought that was a big piece there.
Man, I mean, even the way you talked about that, I mean, you're talking about enterprise. You just said we're building a rental car company. You didn't say I worked at a rental car company. That's the big difference. I feel like you're like, we're building a company, not you have a job at a rental company. But yeah, I mean, what I've noticed with Play Crate, with other people's businesses, is like there's more of a risk not doing it than there is to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you can always go back and work at, you always could have went back and worked in enterprise, but you know, now they're helping you grow this, like, such a cool that definitely needs innovation. I would put you guys at the top of the category in terms of, you know, innovative ways to get awesome equipment that might not have been available to a lot of families before. You know, baseball it can be expensive, which naturally excludes a certain you know, demographic of people. And you guys, you know, make that much easier for people, which brings more people to the game of baseball. If there's more people in the game of baseball, there's more competition. People are going to get better. And I just think it's so important. It's not just a subscription to get something cheaper. It's welcoming so many new people. But I'd love to hear about, you know, how'd you start Bat Club USA? Bring us through the story, bring us through the pink room, and what that first year looked like.
Absolutely. So when I came up with the idea for Bat Club USA, because I had been away from the game after I got released. You know, and with that release story, which was crazy, that my wife had quit her job, then moved up to Lansing, Michigan, and then I got released 10 days later.
That's how it was.
It was a terrible drive home from Lansing to Miami. I made sure we stopped in Disney World because I needed to make sure I could smile at the world's happiest place. But so I stayed away from baseball for a while, and then my son was born. So of course, you know, my dad's bringing the baseball bat over, and we're ready to go. I mean, he was swinging a bat the second he could stand, and that type of stuff. So when I could put him into coach pitch, I mean, I go and I get him signed up at the league I played at growing up. Then I started looking for bats, and I saw bats that were more expensive for coach pitch 5-year-olds than bats I used in college. And then I started thinking about myself as a kid who had so many awesome doors opened up because of baseball. My parents didn't have a lot of money. We're a lower middle class family, and we had financial troubles, but my parents sacrificed to get me the best equipment. They didn't have to sacrifice like now, where you've got lessons and you've got travel and you've got all this other stuff. Like, we just paid our one time a year league fees. They maybe bought me one nice bat because they could afford it at the time. And that was it. So I started thinking about, how would my life be different if my parents got priced out of baseball and softball? I mean, my younger sister was an all-state All-State state champion softball player. Yeah. So it runs in our family. And how would our lives be different without it? Where we just couldn't afford it and we would have been pushed towards something else, or God knows what would have happened. So I wanted to think of a way that we could make the best equipment affordable for everybody. So that's where I came up with the idea for Bat Club USA. I mean, you were seeing it so much in an example like smartphones, right? Cell phone companies are moving away from, oh, well, sign a contract and get it for $200. So people didn't even want to put out $200 for these things. So what you saw was a lease attached to the data plans and things like that made it more accessible. Then what happens? iPhone, Samsung go absolutely through the roof and turn into $1 trillion companies and stuff like that because their products are accessible. So we had the same idea there. I met with my co-founder, Oscar Llarena, who through baseball, one of my best friends in the whole entire world, known each other since kindergarten. It was a natural thing for me to say, that's the guy I need to go to. So we got our first website, we incorporated, got our first website going. The program has changed a lot over the last few years. We've learned a lot on how we can add more value and better service our members. And now we've got members all throughout the country and are really excited about the direction.
Dude, that's awesome. So what was it like? I mean, what was it like in the pink room? I mean, you have 4 kids, so it's like you instantly start with like 4 laborers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like that's great. I know who's like packing boxes and everything, but what did that first year look like? Because now, I'm looking at Bat Club USA now. You guys do gloves. You have like so many different options on your site. But what was that first year? Because people see now, they see you now and they're like, this is such a cool business. It must have been so easy and just like this linear path. It's not a linear path.
Never is
a linear path. So what did the first year look like in the pink room? What was like a day to day?
It was rough, man, because at the time you're trying to support this business and working a full-time job in an industry that is pretty demanding. So we're with the organization I was working with at the time, and I was overseeing patient experience and analytics for the entire health system. And it was about an hour and 15-minute drive away from my house. So I was waking up early, getting to the office early, knocking out a lot of stuff, coming back home, getting all of our Bat Club USA orders fulfilled out of my daughter's 8x18 room and my IKEA shelves. And my kids had a competition on who could carry the most bats into the post office. The ladies at the post office love them. And that was the first year. And then not just doing that, but then coaching both of my boys on their teams. And Dwayne Wade put it best on being on Team No Sleep. Like we were grinding every last little bit, staying up late, not just getting the orders out, but strategizing, what's the next step? Do people even really want this? And what we learned very quickly is that, there was a market for it, because bats are freaking expensive, man. And there were a lot of pain points for people and for our members that were able to address to add value. And that's the thing that I'm constantly looking at with this business, and why I think it's been successful, is we're constantly trying to find a way to add value. So partnering with Plate Crate, right? Like us getting together again and being to add value for our members, partnering with Adapt and mental skills training, and Sean Larkin, great there. Iron Ore Fitness offering that we have, and that type of content, like constantly trying to figure out a way to drive value. So from the beginning, that strategizing led to a lot of late nights for Oscar and I, and it wasn't easy. There were times that we're just like, man, are we going to be able to do this? Are we going to be able to fit this in? And it can't sustain us, and I can't sustain, my life with 4 kids and pay my mortgage and all this stuff. Like, how are we going to get there? And it took a lot, of sweat, took a lot of effort, and we still got more to go, because we've got so much more to offer.
Yeah. So what is it? There's a book called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, and it's basically about how to create something from nothing, right? Going from 0 to 1. And that's like mostly what people talk about, is like, how do you go from 0 to 1? How do you go from $0 to $1 million? But what's really interesting to me has always been 1 to 2. How do you take something that you're like, this actually works and it has potential, and grow it, from a business standpoint? What does the 1 to 2 portion of growing the business look like?
What I've learned through this experience, and sometimes it drives my people crazy, drives our team crazy, because I'm constantly ready to change. Like, what's the next thing that we can do to add value, right? Like, I don't want to stay stagnant, because anybody can try to come in and figure something similar out, right? So I'm constantly looking at what's the next step that we can do to add value, and we do that on a regular basis, right? It's not something that we just say, well, the model's good and people are coming in, so we're just going to stick with this. And there are some established businesses that you can do that, right? Like you've got your core business, you're making $50 million a year. You can hedgehog or porcupine, whatever, just put your spines up and, just do what you do. But being an early stage business, like, well, you have to be willing to think 2, 3, 5 steps ahead, and all in driving value for your customers, and in our case members. Like, what are the things that we can do to make them feel like, yeah, that's definitely worth it. Anybody can go to any other website or big box retailer and buy a bat at a certain amount, right? Like, the manufacturers dictate that type of stuff, but for us, there are great partnerships and people that we know that we can leverage to continue to add value for our members, so we're constantly looking for those.
Awesome. So what's next? I mean, what's next for Bat Club USA?
Man, there are a lot of awesome things going on. We have a big partnership that is going to be announced in about 11 days. I can't quite tell you, but a big national partnership. So really, really excited about that. We have an independent rep program that's coming on board here in the next week or so too. So we'll begin that recruitment here sometime around the 15th of April, which is really exciting, because it's going to be a great opportunity to help people build businesses in baseball and softball, and be able to just stay close to the game. So we've got some great things coming down the pike. I mean, a couple other things that I won't quite let you into yet, Josh, just a little too early stage, but the wheels are always spinning, man. Like, there's so much that baseball and softball players are doing, and what the parents are spending. Like, there are a lot of opportunities that we're trying to figure out on how we can integrate and synergize, whatever buzzword you want to use, but figure out how we can get them all together to create a very high level member experience that's available for everybody. It's not something that you see that, oh, this is only for people making tons of money, or, the opposite side of the spectrum. Like, we want it to be something that's going to be encompassing and can include everyone in the baseball space, so they find value in a membership.
Awesome. Well, I have a couple short rapid fire questions, then we'll wrap it up. I want to be respectful of your time. If you could give your 16-year-old self advice, what would you say?
Oh man. Baseball wise or life in general?
Life in general, or baseball wise, wherever you want to go with it.
All right. Baseball wise, I would tell myself, get your foot down earlier and pull the ball in the air. It took me way too long to learn that. I didn't learn that until my senior year of college, and then I set the school record for home runs.
Yeah.
So baseball wise, life, I would tell myself, continue keeping a good attitude, man. Continue keeping a good attitude, stay positive. And there's too many things in life that can pull you down, and that are trying to suck that positivity out of you. So keep that positive attitude, because that's going to help you so much. And throughout COVID, there are a lot of things that happened in my life personally that were tough, man, that were really hard. But that, just thinking about that and that positive attitude and thinking about the good things that happen, are really helped me power through.
Awesome. What's something you've changed your mind on in the past year?
Oh, something I've changed my mind on. Actually, recently, baseball is awesome. Softball is awesome. The whole home run or strikeout thing right now in the state of the game, it makes it a little tough at times. Although I love seeing a ball hit 800 feet, right?
Yeah.
So baseball wise, I was never huge on, oh, let's pay attention to launch angle and all this other stuff. And then yesterday, Rob Friedman there pitching ninja on Twitter put some, I forget the guy's name, but it's a 102 mile an hour cutter. The 102 mile an hour cutter. What the heck am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah. What is
Like,
yeah.
like am I really trying to string together 3 hits off this guy with a 102 mile an hour cutter? Like, I understand why baseball has gone to hitting a home run and not worrying about stringing together 3 hits, because that's next to impossible. But if I have 9 guys in my lineup trying to take hacks and hit the ball over the fence off this guy, there's a good chance that two of them run into something good, and then all of a sudden, bang, we've got 2 runs on 2 swings, even though we've got 15 strikeouts. Like, so that's where I've shifted a little bit. I do want to see more action in the game and stuff like that. I know they're testing things in the minors that a lot of the baseball purists are like freaking out about, but I'm down with that. Actually, the only one that I have a problem with is that not letting lefties pick off anymore, that they're testing in the minors, where you got to step off, because I was a serial balk move abuser. So, I'm teaching that to my younger son, who is a 10-year-old nasty lefty pitcher. So for him to lose that advantage, kind of hurts a little bit. So that was one, that's one thing that I've changed on. I mean, the other thing that I've changed on life-wise, you know what, man, we've been pretty consistent on what, you know what, and this is straight up Bat Club related, because I had people ask me a long time ago, since my parents own their own business, if I'd ever run my own business. And I vividly remember telling somebody, no, I don't want to do that, man. I like the stability of knowing that the paycheck's coming every 2 weeks. And here we are, right? We've created one of the fastest growing companies in Florida, and really, really excited about that. So I've shifted on that, because if you would have asked me 10 years ago if I want to run my own business, I probably would have told you no.
Yeah, I'm glad you are.
Yeah, me too.
So if you had a billboard to reach hundreds of millions, billions of people, and you couldn't put anything commercial on it, so no Bat Club USA, what would your billboard say?
Wow. To promote Bat Club though, right? Like to try to drive business, or just Eric's life advice?
No, so it can't be commercial, can't be Bat Club, just a message you want to get out to the world.
Man, hard hitting here, Josh. Holy cow.
It's not meant to stump you. It's not
this is supposed to be Eric. I got 3 really quick, easy questions for you. What's the meaning of life? Be positive and hug somebody, man. Like that would be it. Yeah, there's like I said earlier, there's a lot of negativity trying to draw and suck our energy, man. And positivity goes a long way. A smile goes a long way. We know this out of COVID. Hugging your loved ones goes a long way, man. So I would say be positive and hug somebody.
Eric, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm really, really happy. We're going to have this partnership. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. I'm really excited to introduce Bat Club USA to the Play Crate, to our Play Crate members and everybody. But this is a blast. Thanks so much for sharing your story.
Love it. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate the time, man. And I'm really excited about the partnership too. Again, I think we mesh so well, and the value that we're delivering. Like, this partnership is just going to be awesome. So really excited about that.